The silent town. When an entire community vanished overnight, the howling Arctic winds carried an unnatural silence when fur trapper Joe LaBelle arrived at Lake Anjikuni in November 1930. He'd visited this Inuit fishing village many times before, always welcomed by the cheerful shouts of children and the smell of cooking seal meat. But this time, no smoke rose from the chimneys. No sled dogs came running to greet him. The entire settlement stood frozen in eerie stillness, like a painting of a community interrupted mid-moment. LaBelle's boots crunched through fresh snow as he approached the first empty igloo. Inside, a stone lamp still held melted seal oil, its wick charred as if recently extinguished. A sealskin parka hung neatly by the door. On a cooking rack, a blackened pot held the remains of a meal now frozen solid. It looked as if the family had simply stood up and walked away during dinner. One by one, LaBelle checked all 30 dwellings surrounding the lake. Each told the same impossible story. Meals left half-eaten, tools dropped mid-task, rifles leaning against walls, valuable possessions no hunter would willingly abandon. Outside, he made the most chilling discovery of all. The village's sled dogs, normally howling and energetic, all lay dead in their harnesses. They had starved to death, still tied to posts where they'd been left. But the true horror lay in what LaBelle didn't find. Not a single footprint disturbed the snow beyond the village perimeter. No tracks led to the frozen lake where men normally fished through the ice. The community's kayaks still rested along the shore. It was as if 24 men, women, and children had evaporated into the bitter northern air. When LaBelle reached the nearest telegraph station days later, his report sparked one of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's most bizarre investigations. Mounties arriving at Anjikuni confirmed his account, adding disturbing details. They found graves in the village cemetery unearthed from the inside out, their contents missing. A stone cairn used for food storage stood empty, though no animal could have moved the heavy rocks. Most puzzling of all, the Mounties discovered several lamps still burning faintly beneath layers of ice. Impossible, unless someone had kept them fueled within the past few days. The official explanation claimed the villagers had simply relocated, despite all evidence to the contrary. Inuit elders told a different story. They spoke of the Mahaha, ice-dwelling spirits that steal people in the night. Others whispered of the Turiaksuk, shadow people who mimic human voices to lure victims into the tundra. Some hunters reported seeing strange lights dancing over the lake that winter, while traders at a distant post swore they'd seen Anjikuni villagers months later, their eyes blank and movements mechanical, before they vanished into a snowstorm. Modern researchers have uncovered even stranger details. A 1990s investigation found that Canadian government maps erased Lake Anjikuni's location throughout the 1940s. Declassified documents revealed unusual military interest in the region during that period, including reports of aerial phenomena. When journalist Brian Dunning visited the site in 2004, he discovered metallic fragments embedded in nearby rocks, their composition still unidentified. The Arctic holds many secrets beneath its ice. Permafrost preserves things that should have decayed centuries ago. Some scientists theorize about rare atmospheric phenomena that could disorient entire communities. Others point to the region's strange magnetic anomalies. But the people who know that land best, the Inuit, still avoid Lake Anjikuni after dark. They say if you listen carefully when the northern lights dance overhead, you can sometimes hear voices calling from beneath the ice. Voices that speak in familiar tones, using words no outsider could know. What really happened that November night? Did the villagers fall victim to some classified experiment? Did they encounter something ancient that watches from the glaciers? Or does the truth lie somewhere in that impossible middle ground between science and legend? A place where entire communities can disappear without leaving a single footprint in the snow. The ice never tells its secrets. But sometimes, when the wind blows just right across the empty ruins of Lake Anjikuni, it carries the faint sound of laughter from a village that hasn't existed for 90 winters. Maybe one day, when the permafrost finally thaws, we'll learn what really happened to the people who vanished without a trace. Until then, their empty igloos stand as silent reminders that in the far north, some doors should never be opened, because whatever took those villagers might still be waiting for new guests. Some mysteries are best left unsolved. The story of Lake Anjikuni reminds us that there are still places on this earth where the rules we take for granted don't seem to apply. Before you dismiss this as just another campfire tale, consider this. The Canadian government still monitors activity around that frozen lake. Why would they bother, if nothing unusual ever happened there? Let us know in the comments what you think became of the missing villagers, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will make you question what's really out there in the dark.